Welcome and thank you for watching this Colorado Rising basic training video. We're very glad to have you here. As you can see from this agenda, we have a lot of great things to talk about. To start with, if you're watching this presentation at a training event with other people, you can pause the video and take a minute to do introductions and a brief welcome if you've not already done so. Next, we'd like to remind everyone to please sign in. You can sign in online using a smartphone or tablet at www.corising.org/sign-in, or your host will provide paper sign-in sheets. You can pause the video now while completing the sign-in. If you're watching this on your own, we'd still like you to sign in online to let us know that you've completed basic training. Thank you. So now, we'll watch this training video together where we'll learn about the basics of fracking, a short history of the fracking situation in Colorado. We'll give you an understanding of our ballot initiative, we'll explain our strategy to win, and we'll talk about how you can help us win. Then, for people at an in-person event, there will be time for questions and we'll adjourn. We all know how lucky we are to live in Colorado. We have Colorado Rocky Mountain pride. We value the land, water, wildlife, and our famous clear blue skies. We hold dear our communities, our way of life, our wild open spaces. All of this enhances the quality of our lives in Colorado. They are the key to what makes our home so special. This is what inspired many of us to live here. Now, our way of life and homes are under threat by the massive expansion of fracking operations. Before we jump into how we will stop fracking from harming our communities, let's first talk about what fracking is. Fracking is a process of drilling a well to maximize the release of oil and gas from underground. The first step is to drill a very deep well until it reaches gas-rich layers in the earth and then drill horizontally through the rock in multiple directions. Next, 2 to 12 million gallons of water per frac are trucked in and mixed with toxic chemicals and sand. This fracking fluid is injected into the well at very high pressure and is forced into the rock formation. The pressurized fluid fractures apart the rock into countless tiny cracks. Along with natural gas, the fracking fluid comes back to the surface and must be disposed of, either at a treatment plant or injected into a different hole in the ground. It is these injection wells that often result in earthquakes. Most of this water is permanently destroyed. By the way, fracking is one of the only man-made processes that permanently removes water from the hydrological cycle. The sand from the fracking fluid stays behind in the rock, propping open the cracks so the gas can be pumped out. And finally, the collected gas is stored on the surface in tanks until it can be taken away in trucks and burned for fuel. Let's look at what this threat currently looks like. In Weld County, just northeast of Denver, over 20,000 fracking wells have gone up, one of the highest concentrations in the whole country. There are about 80,000 active oil and gas wells operating in Colorado, making us the fourth highest in the nation. Countless studies agree on the multitude of ways that fracking damages the environment. We don't have nearly enough time today to mention them all here, but we know with certainty that fracking profoundly damages our land, air, and water for us and future generations to come. This infrared camera shows gaseous contamination plumes, including methane and hydrocarbon, rising a few hundred feet above a high school in Greeley. The hydrocarbons in this gas are toxic to humans, and the methane is a potent driver of climate change. Inhaling toxins first affects the tissues of the nose, causing severe nosebleeds. Kids who live near fracking sites bring rolls of paper towels to school because tissues are not sufficient. These toxins then travel to the lungs, bloodstream, and other organs. There are many health effects of fracking. The research is clear, and there is a lot of it. It is an undeniable truth that living near fracking operations is detrimental to human health. According to the Colorado School of Public Health, there are increased rates of cancer and lung disease near wells. Within 1/2 mile, or roughly 2,500 feet, is where the health impacts are the most grave. Reference Lisa McKenzie of the Colorado School of Public Health. Substances widely used in drilling and fracking operations have been linked to impaired brain function in infants, children, and young adults. These include learning disabilities, ADHD, dyslexia, sensory deficits, mental retardation, and autism. Among babies that live near oil and gas well pads, there is a 25% lower birth weight, and children are up to 4 times more likely to get childhood leukemia, cancer of the blood. Why does this happen? Because oil and gas is now happening so much closer to people. There have been 14 explosions in the past year, injuring multiple people and killing several. The tragedy in Firestone, Colorado, just 30 miles north of Denver, killed 2 men and critically injured the mother, whose child was also in the house. Other blasts in Meade and Windsor, Colorado, have killed and seriously injured multiple oil workers. Between 2006 and 2017, there were 136 fires and explosions in Colorado related to oil and gas development. Clearly, the regulations are not working. How is it possible that homes are exploding? And why are children getting sick? Because of this. Currently, a new fracking well can be drilled 500 feet from a home and 1,000 feet from schools and hospitals. It is crazy to have an industrial well pad right next to homes and schools. Zoning laws are supposed to prevent this from happening. Only oil and gas gets these kind of zoning exceptions. No other industry can put industrial processes so near people. Fracking companies have also gotten exceptions from air and water safety standards, so their pollution is poorly regulated. So would you guys like to know how we can protect Colorado from fracking? Well, we know what doesn't work. We can't depend on lawmakers to protect us. Numerous bills that would have protected Colorado communities from fracking have died in the state legislature. We can't depend on the state regulators of oil and gas to protect us. They always side with oil and gas industry and have never denied a single drilling permit. So we can't rely on all those other strategies to protect us, but we can depend on us. Between 2012 and 2013, Colorado communities got organized and ran ballot initiatives for bans and moratoria. Every time communities came up against oil and gas on election day, communities won, even while being outspent 100 to 1. It has always been community organizing that has kept fracking at bay. The Citizens Ballot Initiative is the next phase and our best chance to protect all Colorado communities. In 2016, we ran 2 citizen ballot initiatives and handed in 200,000 signatures. It was an enormous accomplishment, but we failed to qualify by a hair. In the process, we learned how to win an initiative. This is where Colorado Rising comes into the picture. We represent the next evolution of this movement. Our mission is to protect Coloradans' health and safety, our air, land, water, and quality of life, and the people we love from an under-regulated oil and gas industry. Our plan in 2018 is to do that with a statutory ballot initiative. We chose statutory instead of constitutional so that Amendment number 71's challenges do not apply. Here's how we'll do it. Our Citizens Ballot Initiative would do the following. Require 2,500-foot buffer zones between oil and gas fracking operations and occupied buildings like homes and schools, and vulnerable areas like playgrounds and water sources. Pretty simple, but very effective. This safer setback rule would protect all of Colorado communities from the worst dangers of fracking. Here is why we have an excellent chance at winning in 2018. Number 1, we have more time to collect signatures and are focusing efforts on 1 ballot initiative instead of 2, like in 2016. 2, we are working with an experienced signature gathering firm with a long history of success. 3, we have built a broad coalition of partners. 4, we are far better organized using top-notch online tools to stay organized and efficient. And we have a large base of volunteers and supporters. And another big reason why we'll win is that the people of Colorado want increased setbacks. More Coloradans have been personally affected by fracking as it encroaches on our towns and damages our health. There is more public awareness now about fracking and what it does to communities, the land, air, and water. As proof of this, polls show that 62% of Colorado voters support the safer setback rule and will vote for it in November. And we have one additional secret weapon. The secret weapon is you. The final and most important reason that we'll win is that we have committed, passionate volunteers like you who want to protect their communities. Okay, so how does all this work? This timeline shows the steps we're taking to get this Safer Setback initiative passed in November. As you can see, it started last year with submitting the initiative's language. Now that the language is approved, we're ramping up volunteer recruitment and training, and we're gathering petition signatures. By August 6th, we will turn in 145,000 signatures to the Secretary of State to be counted and verified. We'll immediately begin the Get Out the Vote phase of the campaign that involves voter education and ensuring that our supporters get to the polls. On November 6th, Election Day, we will need to win the majority of voters. With your help, we can win, and our communities will be safer from fracking. We can all celebrate that. In order to win, we need 145,000 signatures to qualify for the ballot, $400,000 by August 6th to cover expenses, and educated voters to support the initiative. So clearly, it will take a lot of work to accomplish these goals. That's why we're here today watching this training video. One of the most powerful things you can do is volunteer with us. This slide shows a partial list of the many different things you can do to help. There is something for everyone on the list. On the sign-in form online at corising.org/sign-in, or on the paper that we handed out at the beginning of this meeting, you can sign up to be a volunteer and choose how you'd like to be involved. So please make sure that you sign in before you leave today. There are other things besides volunteering that you can do too. Part of the winning equation is money. We have to raise $400,000 by August 6th. This will cover our expenses, including a partnership with a signature gathering firm. Their work will supplement the signature gathering that we do as volunteers. No campaign has ever made the ballot without full-time paid signature gatherers because volunteers have jobs and busy lives. We also must pay to have the petitions printed. We need print literature to help our signature gatherers educate signers and voters. We also have necessary expenses like office space, utility bills, and supplies. You can make this donation online at corising.org/donate, or your event organizer has donation slips that can be filled out and returned. Please, no passing the hat or anonymous donations. We have to follow strict campaign finance rules. So let's review the action items that we'd like everyone to do at today's training. Please complete the sign-in form and choose volunteer activities. Please sign the petition. Do not sign your own petition. This is not allowed. Donate generously. Join an existing team or create one with the attendees at this training. By the way, if you're watching this video on your own, you can still join a team. Once you've completed the sign-in form to tell us how you want to volunteer, we'll send your name to a volunteer leader in your area. Expect a call or an email from them soon. Alternatively, if you prefer to collect signatures on your own instead of being part of a team, that's fine too. For people at an in-person training, please make some of the goals for your team. Like recruiting new members, have each person think of 3 people they know and ask them to join the team. Plan your next team meeting or house party, either to train members on signature gathering or to create a new team. Make some signature goals, maybe 250 or more per month for the team or 50 per member each month. And finally, we want to sincerely thank you for watching this Colorado Rising basic training video today. We hope it was informative and that it inspired you to help us protect our communities from fracking. Thank you to the event organizer. Let's give them a hand. Once this video is over, feel free to discuss what you have learned and ask any questions you may have. The organizer has a handout of FAQs that will help, or you can get your own copy at the web address shown here. And please, make a plan for how you can help this effort. Everything you give moves us closer to successfully protecting our home. For those of you committed to carrying petitions and collecting signatures, please stay for the signature gathering video. We can only give petitions to those who have completed both training videos, so please stick around. Thank you so much for joining this movement and for your contribution to protecting our beautiful Colorado.